Welcome back, everyone, to the Safe Room. You're in the presence of the President Shon Williams, and we have another episode today. I don't really have no guests. It's just me rocking solo. So, it is what it is. Anyway, today we have a very special episode that I want to talk about in terms of just the subject matter. So, I want to talk about just when do the roses mean the most? And what I mean by that, I'll explain it in a bit. That's just going to be the main topic for today. We're also going to talk about other stuff. I want to talk about the Oscars that happened just this past Sunday. I know there was a lot of people who had a lot to say based on the winners. The Shade Room covered that on Instagram. So we're going to talk about that for a brief moment. And I can even correlate it and talk about how it relates to what happened recently with the Grammys as well. We're definitely going to get into that discussion. Also, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what's happening with, Steve Harvey and what also just, I would guess, resurfaced recently about what he said in an old interview. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, today's discussion is going to be talking about when do the roses mean the most. So really, I'm excited to be talking about this. This is something that's been on my mind for a while that I wanted to get off my chest, and I'm glad I get to do it here. Just before we start, guys, if you want to go check out all my previous episodes that I've been doing ever since I came back in April, you guys can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and make sure that you're following up on my YouTube channel as well. I'm making mini clips every single Friday, and you guys can just check those out. If you guys want to see like the full versions of like me doing these podcast episodes, just please let me know. I'm taking things one step at a time, so I don't want to rush things into it. So let's start the conversation. So this is something that I've wanted to talk to for a while. Like I mentioned, like when do the roses mean the most? So what I mean by that is really gratitude and just giving the recognition to certain individuals for the work that they do or whatever they're trying to contribute, whether it's on a global scale to the community. What does that mean? And like for me, this has been something that's kind of just been my memo ever since. I've always been a person that like cares about others, wants to see them succeed and just grow their audience and grow into their own person. But there are those situations where a lot of the times when it comes to just giving the recognition, you don't see that a lot. Or maybe it's not to the biggest resounding, amount of like love and recognition and gratitude as well. So for me, like I see it in like two different perspectives. So the first thing I want to talk about is really just from when people pass away. And like this is a very sensitive like topic, but I know that I think we all know this is that we do take a late time to recognize certain individuals. And usually when they're gone and passed away, it's when, the resounding love starts to come out. And I'm not even trying to question like anyone's morality, but like it does make me ask the question, like, why is that the case? Like, how come it's like when the person kind of like leaves this earth, it's like now we have to start recognizing for the stuff that they've done in the past or what they were doing leading up to that point. It's something that's really just a trigger in our heads. It's like, okay, we're just going through our own lives, we're just minding our own businesses, and then you wake up one morning or you're in the afternoon or the nighttime, whatever the setting is, and you hear, oh, so and so passed away. And it's like we literally adjust ourselves, our own emotions, our own behavior to now approach this manner in a certain way. Now we start thinking about the memories that we had with said individuals. And again, I say this with a special emphasis to celebrities. So we know that 2020 was a rough year, and like we lost some fantastic people: Chadwick Boseman, Pop Smoke, Kobe Bryant, Alex Trebek, like a lot of people that we lost. And like every time we keep losing some of these great people, it's always, again, our settings start to change and we start to act in a certain way where, like, you start reminiscing on the good moments. You start to be like, oh my gosh, like I remember watching this, or like, oh, this person was very infamous for their role on this show, or maybe they were they had an impact based on what they did in this specific situation. And because of that, now it comes to the point where, like, we may be walking around like we're all sad, and like now it's like you feel the need to show the recognition and, again, the gratitude and the love and appreciation for these individuals. But it now becomes to the point, like, why is that the case, that it takes us to be in a moment like that where we become vulnerable, and we just kind of drop whatever we're doing just to pay attention to these people? And it's not to say that there's an actual answer to this, or to put this into a very contradicting way. Like, it's totally fine that, if you have to take whatever you were doing, just drop it and then recognize that individual for what it's being. And like, that's totally respectable. It's not even to say it's a bad thing, but it's something that I've always thought of for a long time. I'm wondering, man, it's just like, it's that really is just the case. That really is just something that we tend to do because we're so focused on our own lives and trying to do what we could do, to just make sure we live a long, healthy, and happy life. And like, that's a really important aspect to us. When life's moving so fast, we're not really thinking about others unless, they have such a important role in our lives, whether it's friends or family or someone that, a significant other. Like, to a celebrity, like, the relationship doesn't go as far as like, oh, this person is a fan of my work, and as you, like, oh, I'm a fan to the celebrity and what they do, right? So when they pass away, it's like the entire world has something that they can relate to at one moment. It's like, hey, this is just the one time to just like share the moments that we didn't get to appreciate at the time. So that's like one perspective of it. Another perspective is for people, obviously, who are alive, but I like to break it down to two different categories. There's from the global scale. So when I say global scale, basically, there may be an individual that everyone around the world knows, like, oh, this person, him or she, whatever, is very significant for doing this or doing that, ABC. And then there's just those individuals that we may know very well in our communities. And the one thing that I noticed in terms of like the distinction is that a lot of like celebs, even though, and like this again, this, I don't want to make this into a generalization, but we notice that we give a lot of love to these celebrities, who are doing some of the things they do. And like, I do see it a lot, but it becomes even harder to like give recognition to the people in our own community. And like, there's so much variables that go into play. There's obviously that, we're not always going to know every single individual in the community. I think we can be very honest about that. We're not going to know every single person, what they do, how much work they're putting in, and that's fair. But there's also times where there are people who know the people around them and they don't say anything. Like, nothing seems to be in terms of, hey, I see what you're doing, and yo, I appreciate everything that you're doing, or even just to do shout outs or just really put this person on a high like platform, let them know, yo, you guys got to go check out his work or her work, whatever. And it's like, I'm digging the back of my head, like, why is that the case? Like, there may be times where a celebrity, and again, I think this is very infamous, like award shows. There could be someone who has been grinding as like an actor, an actress, a musician, whatever, that finally makes it to the top, right? And again, the relationship between said celebrity and yourself isn't even strong. You just know it as a more arm's length relationship. Like, hey, I'm a fan of this person's work, and the celeb's like, oh, these are like all the people who just support me as a fan. Just a small perspective in terms of that relationship. And then when does that celebrity gets to the top, finally, it comes to a point where like we're like, oh my God, like, yo, congratulations, yo, you've been working so hard, all the work, all the grind, all the adversities and everything. Just, we appreciate what you've done. Yeah, when it comes to just recognizing the average individual who is doing a lot of work in the community, that because the community is such a small yet very open space where like everyone knows each other so well, when like they get a moment to like shine, it's like we don't get that same type of energy or resounding impact as well. So it's becomes where, how is this person getting more love, or more importantly, how come we can't match that same type of love and energy to a celebrity who we don't, they probably don't even know our names and everything, to someone who I know very well. Again, the celeb may see you as a supporter, but for others in the community scale, they may not just see you as a supporter. They may see you as a friend, a family member, someone special, or like someone that they're motivated by you, or you motivate them, which is very important. And I'm pretty sure for celebrities, they have their own association with the people that they work with on a consistent basis as well. So they can relate and be like, hey, like these are my supporters. And I guarantee you, they would probably be the loudest ones when that person makes it to the top or finally gets their due. Yeah, we feel so afraid, and I don't even want to use the word afraid, but it's just something that I see to like pick up a lot, that it becomes difficult to just tell that one person, hey, congratulations. Even if, let's say, you have a grudge against the person, it's these little things that tend to make us feel like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna not say anything. Like, I see what they're doing, but like maybe I should just like be cool with it. And like, I don't know if it's jealousy. Like, I don't know if it's someone that feels like they're jealous of what the person's work are doing. Because, okay, tell me that I'm wrong with what I'm about to say, but I don't think so. Has there ever been a point where like you see someone doing something very incredible and like they're getting recognized, but like one part of you's happy, but the other part of you is like, okay, how come I'm not getting recognition for something I may be doing? Because there are some people who are doing incredible work, but it's not being heard. And then you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, yo, how come I'm not getting no recognition? How come I'm not getting any praise? How come no one's seeing what I'm trying to do, but this person is? That's where like you start to get jealous, and then you start to compare yourself with these other people. You're now starting to say, hey, like I've done more work than this person. I've done more work than he or she, or I have the awards to prove it, or I have a bigger platform. Like, what's going on? Like, that had just kind of been some of the ways someone would think about something like that. And again, I don't want to say this is everyone, but you know who you are. I mean, if you are that person, you can't tell me that it hasn't occurred to you. Like, I'm gonna be very honest. I've been a person who's been so worried about if no one was recognizing what I was doing, that I was doing something wrong, or maybe that I just wasn't good enough. So then I tried to like model myself against other people. You just try to see, okay, what is this person doing, to see how I can change myself and be, if not the same, but better. And because of that, it becomes this chain reaction where it's like you're just kind of fighting with yourself instead of actually supporting those people close to you. And again, I realized a lot of that within the community scale in terms of those people and giving their roses. Like, does it have to be difficult for you to say thank you and congrats? Not really. And honestly, this has become an issue so badly. And like, I don't even want to say like this is false, but it is true. Some people who are like, receiving the thanks and the gratitude, they may look at it as like, someone could say thank you, but I don't think they mean it. Or someone could say congrats and they can just get that vibe like, yeah, it's not sincere. And like that's a horrible mentality as well. Because there could be people who are really proud and really just appreciating what that person is doing, but just the language we may say, like social media. If you were to comment under something and say, hey, congrats to certain people, and based on the person who's making the message, it may be a good friend. Like, compare a friend that the person knows very well, a very strong relationship, to someone who you know him or you know her, but maybe you're not very keen about it, or maybe you actually had some like beef, you had some problems like when you were young, maybe a couple months ago, depending on the time period. To the friend saying congrats, it could be like, hey, oh yeah, man, like he's supporting me. He's a day one, ride or die. To someone that you may not have a good relationship with, or just any relationship at all, saying congrats, you can feel like, okay, it's not sincere. And it becomes to a point where it's literally categorizing how people are giving us the appreciation when we do receive it. When the issue before was that some people don't even get the appreciation. Like I know some people are saying like, why is this person giving me appreciation? Like, I don't need your thanks. I don't need this, and that. It's like I know who like my supporters are. Meanwhile, there's someone who's just wishing to get one thank you, who's wishing to just get one, oh, great job, you really deserve it. When some people are complaining about, yo, how is this person saying thank you? He didn't do nothing for me. Or like, why is this person messaging me? Like, we haven't spoken in years, and now all of a sudden, like, he wants to say thank you. We literally get this, but the problem is we don't say it out loud. We have it in our minds. This is our mentality. This is how we literally move when we get into this process. We just don't show our true colors outside. And again, I would not say that I'm innocent. I'm not saying that I'm holier than thou. I sometimes be looking at it and be like, there's some people that I legit did not have like a strong relationship with, and they would be saying congrats. And then I'm like, all right, I'll be like, cool. And then obviously there's the people who I know very well. They're like congrats. And we're always about to back the same energy, like, hey, yeah, man, you know what it is. I'm doing my grind. And it's like I start to categorize, like, there's the people who I support a lot, and there's people who support me, but I still try to like dismiss what they're trying to say. And like that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. So honestly, just to sum up, like from the community scale, it really shows that there are certain people who may not get the thanks or the gratitude or recognition, and then there's others who do. But again, try to categorize it in a way, or maybe just people who maybe don't want to say anything at all, and it becomes this conflicting chain where like now you don't know if someone like hates you, you don't know if anyone's rocking with you, or even if someone is rocking with you but is the actual thank you sincere. So that's like the craziest thing. I mean, when you look at the celebrity scale, you could even say it's the same thing. Like I know there's so many times where like, oh, a celebrity wins an award and they're like, oh, thank you guys, but honestly, I want to make a shout out to everyone else who was nominated in the category. And then like there may be some people who have to play it off on TV like, oh, that's sweet, but maybe in the back of there they're like, yeah, I should have got that. I should have got that. It becomes this competition. Excuse me. It becomes this competition when really like everyone's just kind of fighting to get their own needs. And I totally understand that. Like we're humans. We're known to be very consuming with our stuff. But at the same time, we got to learn that we're really placed on this earth to like help others and really see their ways like grow and blossom. Because if we're just here to like do everything for ourselves, then like little things of recognition wouldn't even exist. Like I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't have great relationships with other people. You would only use them like as a means to an end. And like we're not living in those times of like utilitarianism or anything like that, or even like in places like a state of nature where like everyone's just kind of doing them like with no rules. Like I don't want to get philosophical, but it's the truth. So like maybe it's best that instead of feeling guilty or just contemplating, should I say thank you to this person, or should I just like keep it quiet and be like, you know what, I see you. The next time you see someone doing some work, shout them out. Like let them know that you have their support. And even again, if you don't know the person that well, still, maybe there's someone that's like, hey, I know this person, but we don't hang out that much. But I do remember this person from my days, and I just want to say congrats. Sure. And for the people who are receiving the recognition, be grateful, because again, there's a lot of people who don't even get the chance or even get the thank you from some certain people. they may be doing work and no one recognizes it. And don't try to categorize the level of like gratitude that you receive as well. There is no hierarchy for the benefits that you receive. We could try to like move around like, oh my god, this was like the best, or this was the worst, or like, oh, I really appreciate this person because I have a strong relationship with them, or I appreciate this person because we known each other for a long time, and this one I may not appreciate because like we don't have that much of a strong connection. But one thing if I learned, all love is the best love. All love is like it's all integrated into one. So like really, like as long even where I get one person who makes the longest comment, who gives me the biggest salute on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, to even someone who's just saying congrats, like it's all the same love. It's all equally spread, and we just want to disperse it out to as many people as possible so that they can grow as one. That's really the main thing. So yeah, that's basically it. And again, for all the celebrities who passed away too, to go back on that, try to like really show your love, like before they're gone. And again, this is not to critique anyone who feels like they're guilty of sharing that passion and that recognition to that individual when they pass away. No, that's not the case. But if there's something that you've probably reminisced in your mind, you're like, yo, like this person like may have changed my life, or like, yo, he's done so much and like he doesn't get the recognition. Sometimes, taking the time to like just show that love to that individual is great. Like I think one example was recently DMX, rest in peace to him. When he was in the hospital, people were giving him like his roses. Like I know there were times people may have like done like different vignettes or videos online, just kind of honoring like DMX. I know it was the what was it? What these bitches want challenge. I know like that was going viral at a point before sadly he passed away. And like it's those little things that really show that as a community, as a whole world, that we do care and we do want to recognize the people who may have impacted other people's lives or just really had an impact within the whole industry. Chadwick Boseman, Kobe Bryant, all these people who passed away as well. Like it was at that moment when they passed away, we started to resemble all the things that they done before. And maybe there were times before that they did, you as your own individual recognize those stuff. But maybe it wasn't to a global extent. And maybe that's the issue. Maybe because you give recognition, but maybe it's not about giving that recognition to that one individual, but who else hears your recognition? Who hears that you're giving love to that other person? Because if it's not a lot of people, maybe what you said means nothing. And you shouldn't feel that. Even if you feel that you're giving love to someone else and it doesn't have that much of a resounding impact, or most people aren't really wanting to like say anything else back to that individual, don't feel ashamed. Say it, because honestly, it's better to say now before everyone is gone, and then it becomes more harder to like accept the fact that, man, I could have given those roses to that person when they were there, still alive and well. So yeah. I just want to like flip things a bit because I know that's kind of like my whole summary about it. So to kind of move on to the next thing, I want to talk about the Oscars. So the Oscars were just last Sunday, and a lot of people were getting upset about the winners for, I think it was best actor and actress in a leading role, and like everyone kind of blew up how Chadwick Boseman, Viola Davis, Andre Day, how they did not win their awards. And like I found that so interesting because I know like everyone was going with the trend. What was it? Oscars so white. I saw that on one of the posts. Like I couldn't help but laugh. I really couldn't help but laugh. But again, it goes to show that like when it comes to recognition, and I want to tie this with the Oscars thing because I don't want to speak too much. Like I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch most of those movies. I'm a movie person, but I'm not really a movie person in terms of like the mainstream movies. I might watch something that's like no one else knows about, But it goes to show that it feels like the only type of recognition someone can get is if it comes through an award or it comes through some accomplishment of excellence, something like that. You needed a piece of like material to justify your hard work and grind. And like it goes to show like that's how really the world works. And don't get me wrong, like it's kind of sad that Chadwick and Viola and Andra did not win those awards. And like honestly, I would argue that they should have, because like their acting was like superb. But again, it goes to show that certain recognition isn't just justified by, saying thanks. It can be justified in certain levels, and it's kind of ranked in this hierarchical system, through like awards and accomplishments to be maybe just like if you had one special moment that people know very well about, that's something that, will be used as like like leeway, like leverage to justify, oh, we appreciate what you did. And then there's just the simple, thank yous and, oh, congrats on moments that may not be important to that individual who's giving the compliment, but to the one who's receiving it, it means a lot. So it just goes to show that aspect as well. Also, like, what's it? She won for best original song. So congratulations to her and what she did for that. And again, like just me saying it right now, like she doesn't know me. Like I only know her as like, oh, I listen to her music. I'm a fan of her. But again, it just represents how when it comes to thanks and recognition, sometimes it's ranked in a certain order based on your situation, your position, and just the people you surround with as well, and who really knows you from a huge scale. And like one example that I want to like bring back again was the Weeknd when he did not get nominated for a single Grammy. Like if you know, like I love the Weeknd. Like he's one of my favorite artists, and like that hurts. That really hurts, especially how he dropped, in my opinion, the best album of 2020 with his album After Hours. The fact that he did not get nominated, people were starting to like, yo, like you need to appreciate this man, like all the work he's done, this and that. Again, it feels like recognition can only be heard from from the majority when it's on a big enough platform. See, the platform is not big enough, you're not able to go on stage and really show the world your talents. If the platform is big, you have all this space to move around and just move freely. And then people could actually see, oh, this person is doing this, oh, this person is doing that. But when this platform is so small, you're only stuck in one place. And when you're stuck in one place, you're not moving in motion. You're just stuck. So really, like when the Weeknd, how he retaliated and said, like, yo, I'm not putting no more music. Don't submit no more music to the Grammys, everything. It, even though that's probably from a different context, because obviously he's like, people say like they don't appreciate his stuff. But again, it goes back into like these little tendencies of recognition and all that stuff. If the global scale doesn't see the work that you're doing, then recognition becomes even harder to gain. So these are just the little things that we have in our brains, but no one really talks about. So I'm hoping that you guys are learning something from this. I hope I'm not just like saying random things. I hope that you guys are taking into consideration some of the points that I'm making. I wanted to talk about Steve Harvey, but honestly, I don't think I even want to. Like, it's not even a big deal. It's like basically he made some comments on an old interview about men and women relationships and everything. I don't even want to get to that. In fact, I'm gonna leave that, guys, to you. Like, if you guys are aware, you guys can go, or should I say, if you guys are not aware, you guys can go check out on the Safe Room. They have the whole story there. You could let me know what you guys think about it, make your comments on it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Before I go, again, this whole discussion surrounds about when do the roses mean the most? And really, that is actually a question that I don't even want you guys to answer. It's more of something I want you to take away. As to the next time you see someone doing something important that means a lot of value to them, give them the love, give them the recognition, give them the value that they deserve. Because honestly, recognition does not come easy. We all know that we have to work hard, especially Black people. Black people, we have to work twice as hard just to get half as much. And honestly, it would be great if you showed that same love and appreciation to those people, because it keeps them to keep doing the work that they want to do. So I just want to give a couple shout outs. Again, I just wrote down a couple names that just came out the top of my head. It's not because if I don't say your name, I don't see what you're doing. These are just the people that I just came off the top of my head who I've had like pretty good relationships, some for a very long time, others like we've just connected right back. Others I just had new relationships just last year. And honestly, like these are people that I wish that they continue to grow their own platform, continue to grow in their own way, and that hopefully they're going to show the entire world all the talents that they have. So first off, I have my sister Chanel. Like I want to shout her out and go check out her story, guys. Like as this, I'm recording on a Thursday. Go check out what's that? I think it was on the York U AMPD Instagram page. Yeah, go check that out. I'll leave it in the description so you guys can go check that out. My sister, she's been doing a lot. I know she's been going through a lot of stuff when it comes to school, but she's always been someone who is a fighter. Like she's determined, she's driven, and honestly, she's such a fun soul as well. And like I appreciate everything that she's doing. Like, obviously, like she's building her dancing platform to the next level. And honestly, I'm always gonna support her. Like I'm the big bro, and like she's the little sis. Even though like we're born on the same day. I mean, like I'm like what 10 minutes older, but you know what I mean anyway. So shout out to you, Chanel. Honestly, shout out to Nola. I know she has done a lot as well in Carlton. Like I always see her making posts on Instagram. Like she's always doing something. I don't think there's a day that she sleeps. And honestly, I appreciate that. Like 24/7, 365, no stops, no pauses. I appreciate that. So to know, keep doing what you're doing as well. I want to shout out to Leanne. I just had her on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and like she was sharing her brand. I hope that's growing as well. I know that you put a lot of effort into the things you do, so really salute you there. Joel, he has his own brand called the Gospel Brand, selling all these shirts, and like I love the path that he's taking with God as well. Like we love to see that. We absolutely love to see that. So keep doing you, man. Big shouts from me to you. Musti, yo, listen, man, Musti, like you're up next. Like I say that with a lot of people, but I really mean it. Like the talent you have, just the work you put through these freestyles, the songs, and everything. Like you're definitely up next. I'm telling you, I can imagine you right now in Dreamville, like right there with Cole, Ert Gang, JID, all these guys. Like I can just see it right now, man. So shout out to you. Randall, I had Randall on the first episode back for the same room with Michelle, and he was just named Ontario's first poet laureate. So congratulations for that, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You've done so much, from like Rise to me seeing you at the Barack Obama event to now this. Like you're making moves, and you're showing everyone that you are just really trying to spread the love and like give everyone else a big platform. It's not just for you, but you're trying to help others as well. And you're getting recognition and rewards and benefits for your work as well, man. So appreciate it. I want to shout out, I'm going to do this super quick. Abida, Talisha, Farah, and Chanelli. So basically, all of my colleagues from the Jada Finch Community Research Partnership. I appreciate just working with you guys for the past year. I mean, Talisha's not on the project, but she's done so much. She was there since 2016. So I appreciate her. Abina, I appreciate you as well. We talk all the time based on the work we have to do. So thank you for that, and keep doing what you're doing. Farah and Chanelli, we all came on the project at I would say the same time as well. And like, we just kind of been like a dominant trio, just kind of put in the work. So appreciate that. Shout out to my co-hosts from the Court Advantage podcast, No Cap, Kevin and Tien. You guys have been helping me out with that since last year as well. And we may be coming out with a little teaser for when we come back. So keep on the look for that. Shout out to Kevin Tien. Jason and Renisha for their podcast, Time Out with the Crew. Jason, I'm really proud of you, man. Like I know like when you left Down G, I was wondering like what is he gonna do? Is he gonna go to college? Is he gonna do this and that? And the fact that you're in college, you're doing this podcast with Renisha, it's so amazing. Renisha, you've also grown as a person as well, and I really appreciate that. You've had me for a couple episodes as well on Time Out with the Crew, and I'm grateful for that. And my last person I want to shout out is Mohammed. So Mo, basically him and I was working on the Going the Distance campaign. You guys could go check out some of the live streams we did on my YouTube channel, Shon Williams, and we've been working on this for a while. Unfortunately, because of the COVID regulations, the run got pushed back, so it did not happen on April 10th. I've been trying to like make sure that this has been growing, and I continue to just show my support for him. So man, wherever you are right now, listen to this, yo, shout outs for me, man. Thank you for putting me on to this project. Thank you for calling me that day and letting me know about this campaign, because it's been amazing. So that about sums it. So guys, just a quick announcement. I'm dropping a website soon for my podcast, so stay tuned for that. I'm literally working on it right now. There may be new additions to it. Right now I'm making it simple, nothing too complex. I may be dropping some other stuff as well, so keep in mind for that. But thank you guys for tuning in for the Safe Room for this episode. When do the roses mean the most? Make sure you guys follow me again on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be updated for all the mini clips that I've done. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr._President SW. I drop new episodes every Friday at 9 a.m. Make sure you mark that down, because I can't stress it enough. Like, if you want to watch or even listen to my stuff, Friday, 9 a.m., okay? I'm not going to say it again. All right, cool, guys. I'm going to head out of here. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the future.